Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum friends. Welcome back to the latest transfer news update for 22nd of June. Now we have plenty of news. We have to start away with lots of stories, with lots of clubs and lots of players. What we're going to do is we're going to start bit by bit and then we'll ease into some of the bigger stories. We'll start with the ones which have already been done, already been completed. So starting off with Bayern Munich. Now Bayern Munich have signed a very good player in Sadio Mane. He has joined Bayern Munich from Liverpool in a deal worth between 35 million euros. So that means Sadio Mane will be joining Bayern Munich, the German champions. And definitely Sadio Mane, who had played for Liverpool, had won everything where he could have done, winning the FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League, Premier League. And now he'll be moving to the German Giants. And it seems that he seems to be pretty happy with this move. Now the key over here is that Bayern Munich, they have done lots of good business in terms of this summer transfer window. They have bought pretty good in terms of Gravenberch and right now Sadio Mane amongst others as well. But there's still one more name which is going to be of Lemar, who plays for Leipzig. Now Lemar has been linked with other clubs as well. He was also linked with Manchester United as Ralf Rangnick knew him. So we have to see that if Lemar will be moving to Bayern Munich, then what does it mean in terms of other players who are playing in Bayern Munich midfield? So far Tolisso will be going away, as well as Marco Roca, who has joined Leeds United. So Bayern Munich are making room for these midfielders, and we might see a new kind of midfield playing maybe Kimmich alongside Gravenberch as well as Lemar, because Kimmich was playing as an anchor man. I think what will happen now is that Kimmich will play a little bit advanced, so we might see him playing in a little bit creative role, whereas Gravenberch alongside him and Lemar will be protecting the back line, just playing ahead of them as a defensive midfielder. So we'll see how it goes. Whereas Bayern Munich, in terms of Lewandowski, is still Oliver Kahn, who's the, you could say, the president, the sporting director, has said that he doesn't think that Lewandowski will move. Now, what does it mean? Does it mean that Bayern Munich are looking for some sort of money for Lewandowski, who still has a year contract? I think Bayern Munich are looking for two things over here. Now, if they would say that they require Lewandowski, then that means they should be offering him a contract which would be in a pretty good reflection, which would at least signal Lewandowski that Bayern Munich really do need him, they really value him. Now, Bayern Munich haven't done that, because once a player who reaches a 34-year-old, who is right at that spot where, you know, if any injury happens, then you're paying big wages, then the club is not certain. So once you pass that 30 years threshold, the club seems to be a little bit, you could say, they are much more cautious. Now Sadio Mane is approaching 30 years of age. Now one would say he's been offered a 3-year contract. Now the difference between Sadio Mane and Lewandowski is that Sadio Mane is 29-30. He can still give 2 to 3 more good years, whereas Lewandowski is almost sitting at that age. If he gets an injury, then it will be a little bit hard for them to get something out of it. I think what Bayern Munich are trying to do over here is they're trying to, in a way, they're trying to see how much Barcelona are willing to pay them, and if they have that much amount of money, who could they target? Now, if you look at their rivals such as Borussia Dortmund, they've signed Sule, they've signed Adeyemi, they've signed 2 other players, and now they'll be signing Sebastian Haller for 35 million euros from Ajax. What it means is that their rivals are strengthening in all of the areas, and Bayern Munich don't want to be seen to be looked at that they sold their best player in Lewandowski and didn't have the equal or a good replacement. So Bayern Munich, I think they are working behind the scenes in order to find a better replacement, if not better than Lewandowski, then at least good enough so that they can have a good season, at least domestically. So that's what I think is happening. Whereas in terms of Borussia Dortmund, they're improving their team. They sold Erling Haaland. Last season they sold Sancho. So Borussia Dortmund are working in a cycle where they're trying to improve their squad. They are getting better players. They're getting good quality players. They are young. They are experienced. So it's a mix of both. Borussia Dortmund, I think they would want to challenge the domestic scene. So that is why they're adding such a good numbers, and they're also adding a very good quality group of players. It seems that they will be trying to challenge Bayern Munich for that top position, for the title of German Bundesliga. So we'll see how it goes between the two of them. Now, moving away from Bundesliga, we'll be heading towards Serie A. We'll be speaking about Inter Milan. Now, Inter Milan, it seems to me that Inter Milan do have problems financially, but not even that. There's some issues regarding about the squad, that what kind of balanced squad are they looking for, because since Antonio Conte has moved on, Inzaghi has done a good job. They were in the title race, they were edge to edge with AC Milan, and they did lose it out. What I think is that Inzaghi is trying to build it up. What I seem to believe is that if they add a likes of Lukaku and Dybala in their attacking lineup, it will give them another dimension. They will be strong back again, and I think it will be harder for AC Milan to get back that Serie A title which they have won this season. Inter Milan are solely focused on winning that Serie A title back, because they do know that Juventus are also in the transition phase. Now, if you do not capitalize in that transitional phase, then it seems that you will never have an easy chance to win the Serie A. Now, Lukaku, he's moving from Chelsea to Inter Milan on a loan deal. The loan deal is going to be about 7 to 8 million fee, whereas Lukaku is on 12 million euros net. Lukaku is seemingly agreeing on a shorter deal. What it means to say is that he's not looking for money, he's looking for a good wage, which is around 8 million euros net. So he will agree on that, and there is not going to be any obligation to purchase in that contract. So what it means is that Inter Milan will see how their finances go this season in this transfer market. They will see how it goes in the January transfer market, and at the end of the season, let's say if they work out with their finances and they seem to have that extra bit of cash, then they might go to Chelsea and say, you know what, we are interested in Lukaku, we want to get him maybe about 40 to 50 million euros, and perhaps Chelsea would want to cut their losses, and perhaps they would want to, at least in a way or in a manner, try to get something out of this, because spending 100 million on a player who hasn't given a good return, and it wouldn't look good with the fans, it wouldn't look good in the football world. So what it means is that Chelsea will try to get as much as they can from Inter Milan, and Inter Milan would try to get Lukaku on a much cheaper scale. So we'll see how the season goes. How does Lukaku do for Inter Milan? I'm sure that Lautaro Martinez will be looking forward to play with Lukaku, but the catch over here is, will Lautaro Martinez think about leaving Inter Milan this season? Perhaps Inter Milan would want to cash out on him. Perhaps that Lautaro Martinez would be thinking, you know what, Lukaku is going to play, Dybala is going to play, perhaps maybe I'll have to sit out on some of the games, or perhaps I'll have to share some of the goals with these two fellas. Perhaps there is some other club who's interested in me, and I might be the main man over there in that club. So I think we still have to wait out and see the situation at Inter Milan. Perhaps we might see Lautaro Martinez moving to some other clubs, maybe Premier League. We have heard that Tottenham Hotspur are interested in him. Antonio Conte pretty much likes the player. He thinks that Lautaro Martinez is an exceptional player. He reminds me of somebody as Carlos Tevez. He reminds me of as Wayne Rooney. He has got that bit in him in which he tends to be giving everything he can in terms of skill set. He tracks back, he goes towards the wing, he plays as a target man, he runs behind the defensive line. He has everything in him. He is an all-star striker. He can score goals. He can, you could say he could provide goals. Hello, Abdul Mai. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's really appreciating that you have tuned in today. So that's what it is with Lautaro Martinez. And Lautaro Martinez is really a brilliant player, and it seems that he will do exceptionally well if he joins any other club. I would pretty much love that if Manchester United would go in for him. I do understand that Inter Milan will be looking for top dollar for him, but I think if Manchester United do sit with them and speak to Inter Milan about him, they can agree on a 70-75 million euros. Perhaps they can pay them in, you could say, stages. They could pay them in installments. They can pay them in 3 to 4 installments. And if he does get signed by the likes of Manchester United, I'm sure that it will be too good. Thank you very much, Abdullah Zahid. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's really appreciative that you have tuned in today. And moving on from Inter Milan, we'll be speaking about Arsenal now. Now, Arsenal have been doing pretty good in the transfer market. It seems that they are pretty much getting those targeted players which they've targeted. Now, the catch over here is with Rafinha. I'm going to be speaking about Rafinha a lot today. Now, Rafinha, he's getting interest from so many clubs that most of the clubs think that he's really value for money, and this market is going to be about Rafinha. Now, Rafinha is being targeted by PSG. He's being targeted by Spurs. He's being targeted by Barcelona. He's being targeted by Arsenal. And he's also being targeted by Manchester United. So that's 5 clubs. There you go, guys. 5 clubs in total who are trying to get Rafinha of Leeds United. Now, the catch over here is that Leeds United really wanted this. They wanted as many as clubs would be interested in their player. And it has come to that. There's so many inquiries being made. There's so many bids being made. And Leeds United, they would want to have the top dollar money. So imagine if Rafinha would have costed about 40 million euros. At this present moment, Leeds United think that they could fetch 65 million euros on ease, because the amount of interest that Rafinha is getting is a lot, and Leeds United would want to cash on that. So Leeds United got 2 good assets in Rafinha and Calvin Phillips. So if Calvin Phillips leaves for Manchester City, they would ask for 50 to 55 million euros or pounds. And for Rafinha, they know that they can get good money. So now what's happened is that Arsenal have made a bid for Rafinha. Leeds United think that their bid is not good enough. The bid was made between 35 to 40 million euros. And Leeds United think it's way too low. And Arsenal are going to bid again. Whereas Spurs, they are waiting how does this goes. Same as for PSG. They are looking at what Arsenal is trying to do. So perhaps if PSG and Tottenham think that, you know what, if Leeds United are willing to accept around 50 million, perhaps they might come in late and put in their bids as well. Now the catch over here is that Rafinha has kind of agreed the pre-agreement with only one club, that is Barcelona. Barcelona have agreed everything with the player. The catch over here is that Barcelona are not willing to pay 65 million euros. They think it's way too much. Perhaps because of their finances. In any other season, in any other day, in any other circumstances, Barcelona would have no problem in paying that much money. But it seems that Barcelona don't have that much cash. They're in this serious financial trouble. I'll be coming back to that one as well. I'll be talking about Frankie de Jong and Manchester United. I'll be giving an update about that as well. But right now, it seems pretty much that Rafinha, who really wants to have that move, it seems that I think he might move to Arsenal, because if Rafinha does move to Arsenal, then what it means is that it gives them a chance to kind of to get the squad on a much better play, on a much better scale. Like Pepe hasn't done good for Arsenal, so if Pepe leaves, then they have Rafinha on playing on the right flank. They've got Odegaard, they've got Saka, they got Martinelli, they got now Vieira, they've got Nketiah, and if they get Gabriel Jesus, that's going to be a strong attacking lineup, and that's what Arsenal are trying to do. I think Rafinha would want to get into that team, play for that team, and if he thinks that, you know what, in terms of proposition, in comparative to Barcelona and Arsenal, I think the much better prospect would be is to play for Arsenal rather than Barcelona, because Barcelona will get into financial problems again. They might resell him, so it's best to stay in English Premier League, stay in the Premier League, play for another team, play for a top team such as Arsenal, try to get them somewhere, perhaps a trophy or two, perhaps get into the Champions League, maybe try to raise my profile, and in 2 to 3 years time, perhaps another move towards Spanish League or maybe other league. But that's what Rafinha should be trying to do, that because Barcelona are not in a position where they were lots of years back. Like remembering the last time when Barcelona won the Champions League was back in 2015, and that seems to be a pretty long time, almost like 7 years. So if Rafinha thinks that he wants to get a move, I think Arsenal would be the best place. Thank you very much, Amir. Thank you very much for tuning in. So that's what the situation is for Arsenal and Rafinha, as well as Leeds United. Now I'll be coming to Barcelona and Manchester United and Frankie de Jong. The problem over here lies is that Barcelona need 86 million euros for Frankie de Jong from Manchester United. Manchester United think that's too much. That shouldn't be the correct valuation. Manchester United think that Barcelona are just using them to correct their financial mistakes. So United are not budging on the valuation. They think that Frankie de Jong is going to cost less. They are trying to get him as low as they can. The last bid was 60 million euros plus 10 million euros on add-ons. They don't want to pay, it's 86 million euros. Perhaps there might be a compromise, perhaps somewhere in the middle. Perhaps we might see him as a 70 million euros upfront and 8 million euros as an add-ons, and perhaps the deal will be agreed, but we'll have to wait out and see how it goes. Now, speaking about other things, we'll be also looking at the fact that Barcelona, the reason that they're asking for a lot of money is due to the fact that what they think is the La Liga rules do not allow them to spend all of that money. So what they can do is they can spend 1/3 of that money. So if they got 86 million euros, the maximum that they can spend is around 25 to 28 million euros, which is not that much, and it doesn't help them a lot. So that's why Barcelona are looking as much as they can for a lot of money, which they will try to do so. Now, speaking about other things, speaking about other concerns, we'll be also looking at the fact that Manchester United are under a lot of pressure because it seems that they're not getting their targets. Now, the new news which has come in regarding to Ajax, that Ajax wouldn't want to sell those many stars. They've already sold so many of them. They're selling Sebastian Haller to Borussia Dortmund. They sold Gravenberch to Bayern Munich. They are also getting interest in the other players, in Lisandro Martinez, in Julian Timber. They're getting interest in Anthony. Now, if they sell all of these stars, if they sell all of these players, then thank you very much, Yasin Ulam. How are you, my friend? Hopefully you're having that fine slice of pizza. Hopefully you're fine. And now, as coming back to Ajax problems, that they have so many stars, they are getting a lot of attention from other clubs. It seems that somewhere down the line, Ajax will have to make a decision that if you want our player, then you have to pay premium. Like Manchester United, if you want Anthony, we will not sell you Anthony for 40 or 50 million euros. You will have to pay 70 to 80 million euros. Whereas if you want Lisandro Martinez, same thing again. We won't settle on 30 or 40 million euros. We would want 50 to 60 million euros. So when that happens, then the club does get kind of a laid back response. They wouldn't want to get into that. So perhaps it's now an issue for Manchester United. They might have to look somewhere else for the targets. I still hope that Manchester United do get Anthony. He's a superb player. He's an excellent player. And let's see how it goes. And that's what we have for today, guys. Hopefully you would have loved today's episode. Please do subscribe to the channel and press that like button. Hopefully I'll be back for more updates tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be more news to it. And this is what we have for today. Please do subscribe. Press that like button. Please share this channel with your friends and family. I'll be really thankful if you guys can do that. So hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice one.